Hi folks, and welcome to a brand new video. And this week is the Raw Before the 24, which is a 2.4 hour race before the big Daytona 24 hours, which is the following weekend. Now, the free car in this week for this race is the GR86. It used to be the Mazda, but it has been replaced with the GR86, so that's the one this video will be focusing on. And basically, we're trying to give you a few tips and hints to help your endurance race. If this is your first endurance race, help it go as successfully as it can. Remember, it's a 2.4 hour race. So to finish first you have to finish. That is the biggest key. Keep it out of the pits as best you can unless you need fuel, and crack on and carry on going. But the thing that you're all here for is to have a look at the setup. So there's your tire pressures. I don't think they changed. They're on the lowest that they are. This is based on the iRacing low downforce setup. So if you did want to start from scratch, that's what I based this setup on. So I've lowered the ride height and stiffened the springs because we do go through the oval. So it is quite a lot of compression going through the car. So stiffening the springs does help your car from not bottoming out. But yeah, change the toe in, change the ride heights, also change the pads to high friction. A lot of heavy braking zone in here. Didn't notice the difference between high and medium. So we'll run the highest friction so we can stop as quickly as we can. But there we go. That is the setup. And we will need all of this lovely jungle juice. We will get into the fuel section. Don't you worry about that. But that is the setup. Copy it. If you do find any tweaks and hints that make the car a little bit nicer to drive in your opinion, don't forget to put them down in the comments so we can all help each other out. Because at the end of the day, we all want to have fun and finish the race. We want to finish the race, hopefully, successfully, not lap down and not get crashed out in the pits. So that's the idea. So, that out of the way, let's crack on with the rest of it. Right, so let me show you a few more interesting little things that might help you out in an endurance race. Now, these buttons here, these are ones you can actually assign to go to your black box for the relevant information. So our relative is obviously how our relative is on the track, which is what we should always be having when we're racing on iRacing. Gives us a real insight of who's ahead and who's behind, and also if that delta time is coming down, normally it means they've crashed. So that's always a useful one to keep on all the time. Fuel and tires, you can set buttons to them if you want by clicking them, press the button on your steering wheel, and that will take you directly to that one. Always worth setting one to go back to your relative, because that will be your standard one. Now, the important ones are these ones. So if you go to options, this is your auto text chat. So these are basically assigned buttons that you can do iRacing commands. So this one is actually all tires and all fuel. And the way you can sort of decode it is obviously hashtag left front, left rear, right rear. WS is windscreen tear off, and you want fuel 500 gallons. Obviously, there isn't a car that can take 500 gallons, but that's how you do it. Always end it with a $sign, and that will be you good to go. So you can set that to whatever you want. So if you just want rights, if you just want lefts, and obviously you can change this to what you want. So this fuel here, if I wanted to change that to 200, so if I pressed Alt F4, just before I came into the pits, what it will do is it will set the fuel to 200 gallons, which obviously in this car, your maximum is 22 gallons, I think. So yeah, that will do your fuel and no tires. So it's very useful if you can set a quick button on here. If you're running a app called CrewChief, CrewChief can actually do your fuel for you. So that'll be in, well, Google that one because that'll be another video all in itself. Right, I have done some calculating for you so you don't have to, and in a nutshell, this race is 144 minutes long. Now, we will do an extra lap after the 144 minutes, so whenever the clock runs out, it will be the next time we cross the line, if that makes sense. So if we cross the line with 5 seconds to go, we have to go around again, because then the clock goes to 0 and then we cross the line. That's how the race will finish. But my lap times were about a 2:10, 2:11, something like that. So that will give us around 65 to 70 laps, give or take, of your pace. Obviously, it doesn't include your repitting lap or going into the pits for fuel, but that's what I like to aim at. Always plan it with a bit of contingency in there. If you've got CrewChief will do the fuel for you, so won't need to worry about too much. But yeah, based on 65 to 70 laps, I was using 0.6. Well, I was actually using 0.585 something per lap of a gallon, that is, by the way. So round it up to 0.6 to make it safe. So we should be using 39 to 42 gallons over the entire race. 22-gallon tank, so you can already see there we need to make a 1 pit stop and basically almost fill it up again. If we can save a bit of fuel, that will really help elongate it, because obviously if we all got the same fuel, then we'll all be coming into pit stop at the same time, and pit lane can get quite busy. So bear that in mind in your strategy of how you're going to save fuel. If you can save fuel and get an extra 1 or 2 laps out of it, brilliant. That means you don't have to come into a really busy pit lane, which makes it easier. This is, as I mentioned again, this is a live pit lane, so there is no ghosting. Most pits in iRacing, you ghost through each other. In this pit lane, you do not. The only place you ghost is actually down where your pit crew is actually situated. So I do explain this later on, but make sure you know that the pit lane is, you can have a car crash in the pit lane. Just remember that. So yeah, in a nutshell, Also, I found out from my testing is the tyres can get changed in the time it takes to put the fuel in. So if you are putting, let's say, 20 gallons in the tank, you can change your tyres within that time. iRacing did an update this season where the fuel and tyres get done at the same time. So if you are coming in for about 20 gallons plus, it is worth taking on tyres if you want to. Now, with the caveat of that, if your tyre usage is very, very low, so if you go into the pits and your tyres are like 90% and they've still got a lot of tread on them, there's no point changing them because you can go out on nice, sticky, hot rubber. Whereas if you change tyres, you'll have nice, cold rubber. So that'll be to your own testing on how well or how much you're using the tyres, but that'll be up to you. But physically, if you are changing fuel, if you are filling up a fuel tank, then you can change your tyres within that time. Right then, it is going to be a pit stop race. So what you want to do is make sure your black box is full of fuel, which mine isn't. And if you're changing tyres, make sure that's tick as well. Cut this bit because it doesn't matter, and brake as soon or as late as you dare. Put on that pit limiter, get straight on full throttle again. That wasn't the best pit entry, but hey ho. When you are coming in, try and stay high. This is a live pit lane. There is no ghost. So watch out for cars when you're coming in. You will have contact. When you pit guys there, come all the way down quite quickly and brake as late as you dare. Make sure you don't overrun it. You do not want to be selecting reverse and going back a little bit like that. Right, so we have pitted, we've experimented with our pit entry, and we've refueled, which we might have to do twice. I haven't done the calculations yet as of recording. Obviously, you would already know before me, so that's weird, isn't it? So you would have already known about the fuel situation before I'm recording this bit talking about the fuel situation. Weird. Anyway, we want to get away. So first gear, have your foot clutch in or something like that. If you've got dual paddles, you can use them to get away because this thing does die a little bit when it's got no rev. So absolutely nail it like that. You can also watch your fuel go in on this screen here, so you can watch it get up to 21.9 gallons. As soon as we get there, we get the green light to go. Ease that clutch out just to get away a little bit quicker. We got the pit limiter on, so we can absolutely floor it around here, not a problem. Make sure you take it easy through here. It's very easy to lose a race through the pits. We want to take it nice and easy, little bit of brake. As soon as we hit that, limiter off, second gear, and we're away. Now, back onto your relative, and you want to watch for cars on your right-hand side here. They can cut across into you at this moment, so a lot of death can happen here if someone hasn't spotted you. Get out of the pits, so be cautious about that. If you don't think someone spot you, get out of it and make sure you survive the race. Biggest thing here, do not get damaged because you'll be slow in a straight line. Daytona is a lot of high speed. You know, it's half an oval basically. It's a lot of high speed. We do not want aero damage, and we don't want to sit in the pits with repairing our damage either. That is the biggest thing with endurance racing, is keeping the car moving. Doesn't matter if you set the fastest lap or not. As long as you set the fastest average lap, you will finish well, and that is the key. And that's why I like endurance racings. You don't need to be the quickest. You just need to be the most consistent and keep that car running for as long as possible, as well as possible. Right then, so first lap out, and we're very rapidly arriving at the start-finish line. And what you're looking for is a nice late change. This thing loves to rev, so make sure you get a good acceleration out of that. Slipstream will be a thing. Don't use 6th gear too much unless you're in slipstream. We were hunting for that yellow marker board just there. Start turning in. Brake nice and easy in a nice straight line. Second gear around here. Feed in the power nicely. Get on full power as soon as you dare. And don't forget to don't change gear until that rev counter turns red. Just like that. This one's second lamppost before the end. Brake in a straight line. Second or first for this one, whichever you takes your fancy. Little bit of apex curve there, and accelerate as soon as we can. Use this bit of extra track here. We paid for it, so we may as well use it. There's no rules say we can't use it, so let's use it. Again, don't change gear until the lights go red on the dash, and we're absolutely full throttle here through the kink. Brake in a nice straight line at the end of this service road. This is probably second or first gear again. Just turn it in. Be careful of the rear end stepping out. Correct that with a bit of throttle. Try and put that weight on that rear axle to tame it a little bit. Coming to the kink now on the oval. This will need to be a crucial exit, so brake before the yellow curb on the right-hand side. Turn it in. Little cheeky tickle. Stay left. It's very bumpy on the inside there, so be cautious about that, but get a good exit and you should be absolutely flying. Try and be easy and keep momentum around here. It is going to be absolutely key for a flying lap. Hug the yellow line like it's your nan, because there's no point going up to the top of the hill because we have to go up there, and this thing has about 3 horsepower, so we'll lose speed, so bear that in mind. Wait until the track goes completely flat before you start moving out to the right-hand side here, ready for the bus stop. Now this is going to be tricky. You want to take it easy, you want to survive the lap, and this will be where most laps die and end. So one board, brake, let the nose dip, turn it in, cut that corner, down a gear again, turn it in. As soon as you get to this point, absolutely flat out, and away you go. Spotter interrupted me there. Make sure you get a crucial good exit, because again, At this moment in time, the car can only accelerate as much as the car will accelerate. So we have done our job, try and get it out the corner as best we can. It's up to the car now. So if we can get a few more miles an hour coming out of there, it will help. As I say, this isn't going to be the fastest lap in the world by any means, but it's just going to give you a few little tips and make sure you survive the lap, because that is going to be the crucial thing around here. To finish first you have to finish in endurance racing. Well, any race to be honest, but endurance racing even more so. So we'll go around again, and we're looking for that yellow sign there. Turn in, brake as you pass over the apron onto the infield, second gear, turn in, tame the rear end, absolutely full throttle as soon as we can. Definitely going to be a dive bomb centre into turn 1. Through the S's, you don't even need to worry about them, absolutely. Second lamppost before the end on the left-hand side. Brake, second gear, then first. Tame the rear end lane out with a bit of throttle. Short shift into second, and away you go. Again, use the extra bit of track. Once you get to it, like I say, consistency, practice. You will need to practice this. You're going to do a hell of a lot of laps. I think it's 144 minutes technically. It's a lot of laps. I think we're scheduled to do 70 or 70. I'll put it on the screen just to make sure. Service road brake, and first, hug the curb on the right hand side, get on full power as soon as you can. The kink, remember, we need a fantastic exit out here, so yellow curb on the right, turn in, get on power as early as you can. That was probably a little bit better exit because I avoided the bumps on the apex. Cut that corner nicely, and away you go again. It's going to be a game of cat and mouse. If you can save fuel, if you're behind someone and slipstreaming them, save fuel. What you can do to do that is just lift off the throttle partially, just about like that. You can see it on my telemetry there. 90% throttle, you will use less fuel. Also, if you get into the braking zone and you want to lift at the 2 board, that's good as well. We'll do that actually here. So we're going up to the 2 board. We're going to lift off. We're going to go past our braking point, brake roughly at the same point, down a gear, third gear around here, get on power as soon as we can. And sometimes, actually, you can find that because you're taking the entry slower, you do get a better exit. So your lap time doesn't get affected that much. But all I'm doing here is showing you tips on how to save fuel, how to get around in a nice, safe manner. And hopefully my setup will be able to help. I'm not the best with setups. I try to make a setup that's quite comfortable. It is a little bit tail happy at times, this thing. So the traction control is set to 1. If you want to dare and try 0, which is traction control off, be my guest. But yeah, there we go. Second lap round. And that is done and dusted. So that is hopefully how I'm going to survive it. Right, so fingers crossed you have enjoyed this video, and don't forget to like and subscribe to that lovely YouTube stuff. I hope I have taught you a few little tips about endurance racing. We have done a few as part of my team. We've done a lot of endurance races, so if I can pass on a little bit of knowledge to help you out on your first endurance race, then fingers crossed everything will go golden and perfectly to plan. But the biggest thing is practice. Get used to the car, get used to the track, try different lines. There will be lap cars, there will be damaged cars, so make sure you try and plan and practice the best you can. Otherwise, thank you very much for watching. Fingers crossed you have a good Raw. I'll be there on Friday night, live streaming it on YouTube. I think I start about 9. I think the first race at 10 o'clock. You would have seen the schedule because I would have put it in the video somewhere. But yeah, otherwise, thank you very much for watching. I'll catch you on the next one.